Well, so you spent the whole day procrastinating and now you're watching this video because you need to study, but for some reason you just can't study because you just keep watching more reels or TikToks and it just seems impossible to study. Well, luckily for you, here's a method that I pretty much used for almost my entirety of my study career, and this works all the time, like literally all the time. And the simple answer, I'm just gonna give it to you straight, is to sit there in silence for 5 to 10 minutes before studying. That's it. No phones, no nothing. Store your gadgets away and just sit there in silence. No talking, no reels, no distractions, nothing. Just sit there on your desk and do nothing for 5 minutes. Now, let me explain why this works so well. And you could click off this video right now. Like, if you have to start working right now, you could click off this video. And if you really need to study, then I won't hold it against you if you'll not watch the rest of the video. But if you can spare a few more minutes, or if you can come back to watch the rest of the video, keep watching, because I want to share why this works and one bonus method and other methods that you could use to get your laser focus instantly. You could use this video, you can save this video so that every time you're procrastinating, you can just search this up and use this as a way to get back into, the things that you have to be doing. All right, I'm gonna explain it simply to why this method works. And the way I'm gonna explain it is through this diagram. And I've pretty much explained this on my other video about dopamine. I highly recommend you guys go give it a watch. It's one of my best performing videos, so I guess it helped a lot of people. So to understand why you keep procrastinating, you first need to understand your dopamine levels. So this is your dopamine levels, and this is the time throughout the day. And in green, I'm gonna draw this. This is going to be your baseline. So what people don't know is that this is actually your dopamine baseline area. So just to give you a brief explanation, our body basically gives and regulates our dopamine. So every time there is a bigger rush of dopamine, after that bigger rush, your body compensates by having to bring it down equally. So imagine this, every time you do a dopaminergic activity, you will have to have a sort of drop right after. This is where your body regulates your dopamine. So a higher peak of dopamine, a higher drop. This kind of explains why whenever people watch pornography or do drugs, they have a huge dip of dopamine right after and they just feel like the worst people in the world. Like they just feel depressed. The thing is with general students is that we tend to go throughout our day and slowly our dopamine gets higher and higher. So, for example, especially like this video, people watching content again and again and again, just procrastinating and they just keep building up that dopamine level. Later on in the time when we actually study, so let's say it's already 9 p.m. and I have to study for my exam tomorrow. I have to study for my quiz tomorrow. And you decide, okay, this area is where I am going to study. By the time you decide to study, your dopamine is way too high. And the moment you put your phone away, you feel like crap because your dopamine just drops really low because you put your phone away and you're like, God damn, I need that dose of dopamine again. Your body starts craving for that dopamine source again because you are at such a low dip. And that is a huge problem of why studying is so hard when you procrastinate the whole day. Now, I'm just gonna tell you the straight solution to this. So before studying, before that dip, all you have to do is do that 5 to 10 minutes of dopamine deloading. And during this period of time, this is where you're going to be just sitting still, just sitting there on your desk, doing literally nothing. And what this does is this makes your dopamine drop low, but since you're forcing yourself or you're being used to that uncomfortableness, your dopamine starts to naturally go back to baseline. And by the time it's in baseline, that's when you can start studying. And this zone is pretty much where you want to keep your dopamine at its baseline. So if anything, this should turn green. Wow, amazing guys. So during this period of time of this 5 to 10 minutes, there should be no distractions and no stimulation whatsoever. Absolute silence. No music, no distractions, nothing, just to get back to baseline. So the brain rot disease is like really continuing in every population, and everyone just can't stop scrolling, which is why I genuinely think that this sponsor will genuinely help you, not only to learn, but to make use of your time much better, which is today's sponsor, Brilliant. As you guys know, I am a fan of learning, especially applicative learning, visual learning, and Brilliant just does them so well. Basically, Brilliant is an app that you can download on your phone, and you can learn math, science, computer science by doing visual problems. So you're not learning by your typical method, you are learning by actually doing those visual problems, and it helps you just really train that cognitive part of your brain. Currently, I'm doing the scientific reasoning course, which I feel like will help me form objective reasonings or scientific data and whatnot, and I just feel like I'm learning so much even just by doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes of this every day. I would literally do this in between breaks, or whenever I'm just feeling lazy, I'll just open Brilliant and I'll just do a fun problem, and I would always learn something new. So if you guys want to check out Brilliant, then head down to the link in the description. You can get a 3-day free trial, or you could even scan the QR code on the screen right now if you want to head to Brilliant to check it out. Again, thank you Brilliant for making science, computer science, and math such a fun way to learn, and I feel like it's the best way to fight against brain rot. Anyway, back to the video. Now, let me talk about a much better method. And for those who actually stayed and watched it to the end of this video, here's a bonus tip for you. Now, we discussed about staying still for 5 to 10 minutes, which can help you bring back your baseline of dopamine, which is a very, very important level of dopamine that you should be having in order for you to have laser focus. But what if I told you that there's a better method to this? And that simple method, ladies and gentlemen, is the simple method of cold showers. I'm not even kidding. A cold shower, or just even a normal shower, is such a great thing that you can do before studying because it does a number of things. So instead of a 5 to 10 silence, instead we have cold shower. And by cold shower, I mean like literally just showering. No distractions, no phone, no music, nothing while showering, just showering in pure silence. Now, I used to be guilty of bringing my phone into the shower and listening to music or listening to a video or whatnot, but I realized showering without anything is actually pretty utilitarian. It's pretty useful in that it stabilizes your body's dopamine. Like, come on, think about it. Why do you think shower thoughts happen in the shower? Now, the reason why we're doing a cold shower is effectively 2 things. The first thing that this cold shower does is it stabilizes your dopamine levels. So obviously, it will stabilize your dopamine levels before your study session. So not only will it make you more focused, but the second thing that this cold shower does is it actually makes you more energetic. So think about it. After using your phone the whole day, you're probably sleepy and tired and you just don't want to study and you just want to sleep right after. This cold shower or shower fixes that problem. The second thing that cold showers do is that they actually release norepinephrine and epinephrine in your body, which makes you actually more alert, making you study even more, better. Essentially, when you're exposed to cold water, your norepinephrine and epinephrine is released, and it's actually increased to the point where it gives your body fight or flight response, which gives yourself a more alert state of mind. And that gives you more clarity to whatever you are doing. So I cannot stress how important it is and how useful it is to just take a quick shower before studying. Now, obviously, I did mention cold showers, which is something that, is scientifically, objectively a better way of resetting your dopamine. But obviously, not everyone can do a cold shower. Like, obviously, I'm personally someone who lives in a place that is very cold. So I recommend just showering if you could. If you could cold shower, that would be highly recommended. But if you don't want to take a cold plunge, then obviously a shower works perfectly fine. A warm shower, a normal shower. So as long as you get that no music, no distraction period of time before studying. Now, of course, let's talk about the non-negotiables. I put this last because these are general tips that everyone knows, but I wanted to put this last because it's something that you really need to know and something that you really need to follow without question. If you're doing these things, then obviously you're not going to be able to study because these are just common sense. And if you do these, then, well, I don't know what to tell you. And those 2 things, those 2 non-negotiables would be your multitasking and your distractions. Absolutely no multitasking and absolutely no distractions. Those are very basic tips, but those are things that people forget. Still to this date, people don't follow this. So a practical solution I have for you is to optimize your environment. So that's my last bonus tip. I don't recommend relying on willpower just to push yourself to distractions. instead of controlling what you really can't control, which is your willpower, instead control something which is within your reach, which is your environment. I recommend studying outside in the library, or if you're at home, try to at least clear your space for it to be just for work, or anything that in your room that could cause distraction, put it away. Make your desk a work study space. This is my desk, and as you can see, I just made it my laptop with my bunch of academic books and my self-help books. This desk is where I do pretty much my work. I never play games, I never do anything. I just sit down and I just do work. Like, there's no reason for me to do anything else here. And trust me, when you have an optimized environment of studying and you have a normal baseline of dopamine, you will be unstoppable. All right, bonus tip. I know last tip. And the last tip I'm going to tell you is that this whole concept applies to breaks as well. And this is what got me to study over 12 hours straight. I made a video about this already, but basically this works the same with breaks. This whole concept of your reward system. Basically, you need to have breaks that don't disrupt your baseline of dopamine. I want you to remember that you really need to maintain that baseline of dopamine if you want to increase your focus. If you want to keep that focus, that dopamine baseline shall not be disturbed, okay? Do not disturb that shit. So I recommend you guys to follow the break that I usually have for myself, which is just pacing around and just having a little walk, or just taking a little break from whatever I'm reading, but not opening your phone. Do not open your phone. Do not open anything that will disrupt your dopamine. Don't even eat sweets. I'm telling you, don't even eat sweets. Don't even eat stuff like that, because that will also disrupt your dopamine like that. Now, one good way of motivating me to take boring breaks, because I know not everyone wants to take boring breaks, is to remind myself that, I'm free to do whatever I want later in the day. I tell myself I can play Minecraft for hours later, I can watch a Netflix series later. As long as I push through this specific time frame of work, I can tell myself, okay, I'm gonna reward later. I can reward myself later, and to me, that's enough to motivate me to go through this boring breaks. And by delaying your rewards and by putting them at the end of the day, it makes this whole process so much easier, because you're also reinforcing that reward system within itself, which is to work first and celebrate after. This is quite honestly something I wish I knew since I was young, and I hope that you guys generally found this useful, because this is something that I would have killed to literally know. Like, I would have killed to just know this when I started this whole productivity school thing. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This has been a longer video, but I feel like this is by far one of the most useful things that I've taught among my videos. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to drink your water. I am really thirsty right now. Anyway, stop watching this video. Go do your dopamine deloading, whatever, and then do your work. Like, you get out of here. Oh, don't forget to drink your water. Bye.